Nice. What a start. What a start to this final. Well done. Absolutely brilliant, DJ. What a brilliant start to this final. Big route turning, left-footed cross. Sisto! Pion Sisto draws us level in the Europa League final. 4-on-3 here for us then. We need to pick the right passes though, as Pablo Maffio drives into the area and still got the ball. And he's managed to find the back of the net. Another good chance for us, gone begging. Chukwueze's cornering towards the box. That's a much better header from Issa Diop, who's put us 3-1 in front and may have just settled this final. And this is what I brought Chukwueze on for, just to get in behind with the pace. And he's done it again as he feeds Pion Sisto, and it's 4-1 Villarreal. Quick fire double will sink RB Leipzig. Tries to get the shot away, it's going to be blocked, and that is going to do it. Villarreal 4, Red Bull Leipzig 1. Champions in the Europa League. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Career Mode episode today. This episode, we will be embarking on Season 5 of the series. Episode 1 coming your way right here today. And of course, if you missed last episode, you will have seen in the previously section there that we did go on to win the Europa League with Villarreal. So, spoilers if you've not already seen it. Apologies for that. However, at the end of the episode, we were given an opportunity to go and manage in the Premier League. Something we've yet to do in the series. And I did say this in the last episode as well, talking about the fact that we'd only been at Villarreal for a year and everything like that. After 3 successful years with the Graafschap, we went over to Spain, we took the Villarreal job. I said I wanted to win the Europa League. We did more than that. We achieved a double with them, winning the Spanish La Liga and, of course, winning that Europa League title, knocking out Everton on the way to doing that. So when the job offer came in, it intrigued me a lot because Everton as a side, they'd finished 3rd in the Premier League. They had a really good squad, something that we could build upon, but there was that little bit of me that felt I could do still business with Villarreal. You know, we could have won a Champions League with them potentially, and that's what a few of you were saying we should have done. We should stay there, win the Champions League, then move on. However, 67% of you who voted on that poll, and thank you for anybody who did vote on that poll, said you wanted to see us take this Everton job. So, to the 30-odd% out there, apologies. You know, sometimes that happens. It's a landslide. I thought it was going to be closer than that, but it really wasn't. I can understand why you would want me to stay at Villarreal. But having said that, the only trophy there really that I would have wanted to win would be the Champions League. And having already done that with the Graafschap, I feel like I want to move clubs and try and win other stuff as well, alongside maybe winning the Champions League. You know, if this was a Premier League club that didn't have the availability of playing in the Champions League, I wouldn't have taken the job. If it was a case of we'd be leaving the Champions League to play Europa League football again or not continental football at all, I would not have taken the job. But Everton as a team finished 3rd last year in the Premier League. I feel with the right business done, we can take this side not only to maybe a Premier League title, but to a potential Champions League title as well. It might take us 2 years, it might take us 3. However, I did say it, the side is very, very, very good. And of course, I do have some worries about a couple of players here, but ultimately, it's a squad that I think if we work with, we can do big, big things. And don't worry as well to anybody who's a bit disappointed by us taking this role maybe. I do plan on going elsewhere as well in the future. This won't be my last managerial job at all. We will still try and get a job maybe in Germany, Italy, them type of leagues. Because, of course, once you win the Premier League, that's that one done. So, I haven't really jumped around in a series like this before. I think the most jobs I've ever taken in one career mode series was 3. So, yeah, I'm already on 3 here, and we're in the 5th year now of the series. So the first thing that I did, went over to Everton, I had a plan in mind, and that was literally one player that I wanted to bring back. You can see him on the screen there. It's a bit of a controversial one, I guess you could say, because IRL apparently is going to be leaving Manchester United to go to Inter Milan. That's the talk at the moment. Romelu Lukaku, a former Everton man, of course, made big headlines a few years, well, was it a year ago now or 2 years ago, when he joined Manchester United for a massive fee. And of course, IRL hasn't really hit the ground running. I don't think he's actually got that bad goal scoring record at Man United, but for some bizarre reason, he hasn't really got to the heights that people maybe expected of him. So my plan initially, having seen that Everton were interested, I knew Lukaku was at Man United. It's a Man United team that have just won the Premier League in our series. So they are the current Premier League champions, I do believe. I'm pretty sure. So I looked at this and my immediate thought was one player in particular I want to bring back is Romelu Lukaku. The only way I was going to do that, though, was by letting a couple of players go. So it's some smart business in the window. I had 2 fullbacks at the club in left backs, which was Kieran Tierney and Grimaldo, and both of those guys, I didn't want to keep hold of 2 of them. I knew that I'd only need 1 for the season, so it was about who would we let go of. And I didn't even have to make the choice for myself, because Man City came calling for Grimaldo, and we eventually negotiated a fee. You'll see that in a few moments' time. But I've got to say this, the business we didn't do as much as I did when I joined Villarreal, because I didn't have quite as much dead weight to get out of the club. But the business was really, really smart. Grimaldo and Onyekuru were 2 players that I planned on maybe holding on to. Like I said, I only wanted 1 left back at the club, so if Tierney had been the one that went, then that would be the case. But Tierney is the one who's going to stay now. We got a combined fee of £98 million for those 2 players, an 86 rated left back and an 83 rated winger in Onyekuru. So 98 million quid for the 2 of those guys, freed up the funds, which meant we brought back Romelu Lukaku. I then did a bit of looking around in the transfer window, came across one player I also wanted, which was Kingsley Coman. Not actually used him before in a series, I don't think, so he had a release clause from Bayern, £50 million. We activated that as soon as Onyekuru left the club, and that is what I talk about when I say smart business. 5 overalls higher, similar age in terms of that one, I think, but you consider that we got the same amount of money in for Onyekuru that we spent on Kingsley Coman. So that is an unbelievable feat for me. And you can see we still had a little bit to work with in the transfer budget. I tried a cheeky offer to bring Trent Alexander-Arnold back in what would have been a very, very controversial move, wouldn't it? Back to the Premier League, that is. Of course, a Liverpool youngster. Imagine if he'd have joined Everton. That would have been something, wouldn't it? But Barca were having none of it. 40 million quid. They basically went straight out of negotiations and called me an idiot. So fair play. So I was looking around, I decided I wanted a right back, and this particular Everton side I wanted to kind of mould into what I believed was going to be quite the young team with a few years ahead of us, because without sounding too harsh on myself, you know, I know we've had really good seasons at Villarreal and then the Graafschap, but I feel like the Premier League's a whole different kettle of fish. You know, we're going to have to be fighting on 4 cup fronts this season, not just the 3 that we had with Villarreal. We've got the Champions League, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, and the Premier League, so already more games to contend with. So I felt like I had to get a squad ahead of me that I knew would be capable of big things. Maybe not this year, but certainly in a few years' time. The only one who's out of that is really Romelu Lukaku. So he's 29, soon to turn 30 at some point during the year. I think in May it's his birthday. So a big, big, big monetary outlay for somebody that's going to be quite old at this point. But I was quite happy with the business we'd done. And as I went for one last signing here, which was going to be an English centre-back, 28 years of age, Jamal Lascelles, a big fan of him IRL. We negotiated the deal, went to the contract stage, and he came back and basically said I insulted him with the wages on offer. I basically doubled his current wage that he's on, and yeah, he was having none of it. So we might have made another signing here, wasn't meant to be. So that meant, I believe, I'd only made 4 or 5 new additions to this Everton side. I did tell you that there wasn't really a lot that I felt we had to do with them. Compare that to Villarreal, we basically shipped out 11, 12 players and brought in 8 or 9. So like I said, you compare that, I didn't have to do half as much work here with this Everton side, but I feel like the business we did do has certainly strengthened this team. So I decided to have a quick look at the transfer list, and surprising to me, Cristiano Ronaldo appeared on it. Juventus was looking at cash in. He's 37, 84 rated at this point. I wanted to go in. He was a transfer listed player. I thought, we'll get him on the cheap, right? I went in. He's worth 20 odd million, 22 million. I offered them 10, and again, insulting they called it. So for a player who's 37, we'd probably only get a year out of him for 10 million quid. That was more just a bit of nostalgia. They were having none of it. So unfortunately, we're not going to get Cristiano. He's not going to join us at Everton. But that was pretty much all of my business that I was going to do done. So I went into game against Wolves. I recorded this quite late at night, which is why this isn't live com, but I couldn't really wait to kind of jump into the first game and kind of get a feel for the squad, see how it was going to play. So you look at the business we've done then so far in this video, and I will show you the full list in a few moments so you can see who has actually left the club in terms of that one. But we brought in 4 players. Lukaku is a new number 9. Kingsley Coman is our new number 10 out on that left-hand side, both 88 rated. Patrick in from Villarreal. You know I had to go for Patrick. That was you could have guessed that pretty much. He's going to wear the number 8 shirt at Everton, and hopefully the Everton fans are going to take to him like the Villarreal fans and the Graafschap fans did. And then finally, Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back. They are the 4 signings we have made so far in this window, and they are the 4 signings that I'm planning on making together. So, compare that. 4 new faces at the club. It's not a massive change around for Everton. I felt they had a lot of quality, didn't need to do too much with that, so we're going to see how they perform in this first game against Wolves. And I've got to say this, Wolves kind of surprised me a little bit, because heading into this game, I thought it was going to be quite tough. Now, I don't know where they finished last year, so I can't say that for sure or anything like that. But what I will say is, it was like a mixture. They have some good quality players, and then other players I'm thinking, what are you doing? So when we took the lead after 8 minutes, how about this from Lucas Torreira, by the way? But talking about somebody who the Everton fans are hopefully going to get to love, Patrick. Have a look at the touch that he plays into Lucas Torreira to set this up. It's an unbelievable little touch, and so much so he falls over in the build-up to doing that. But then Torreira just smashes it in to make it 1-0. But back to the point of Wolves, they had Diogo Jota still, quality player, right? Yet they had Fabian Delph in their side. Now, you've got to remember, we're 4 seasons in. This is our 5th season. Delph at this point isn't what I would class as Premier League quality. Maybe he is. Who knows? Maybe he's just hit the heights and had like a late surge in terms of quality. But I doubt it. So when you've got Diogo Jota in your side, I'm looking at that going, wow, they've kept hold of him. That's really, really good business. But then your midfield is Pereira, Delph, and Chivrella. I was a bit surprised. That's the word I'll use. Bit surprised. So, yeah, not really sure what Wolves are going for with their side in this one. They still pose a threat, though, going forward. They tried to find an equaliser, unable to do it. Lunin with a good save before Romelu Lukaku, on his return to Everton, scored to make it 2-0. 26 minutes on the clock. Patrick's ball out wide towards Kieran Tierney it was. He put the cross into the box, and there was Lukaku. Spoke about Patrick. The fans are going to get to love him. But Kieran Tierney in particular, this is a player who could be really, really important for this Everton side. Tierney's a quality fullback. 85 rated at this point now as well. He's got such quality going forward, and he's just so capable defensively that I felt so good having him in the side. Speak of Tierney, here you go again then. Second assist in the game. The Corey absolutely levered this one, though. I had to show you the sliders. I showed you before we came into game as well. And that's a good point, actually. I do get asked questions sometimes about what camera angle I use, anything like that. If you want to check it out, I showed you it heading into this game against Wolves. So make sure you go back, check that out. And then, of course, you can see all of my settings as they are used. So in that way, you don't have to ask me the questions. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I believe it's default for camera anyway. So, yeah, that's it. But I decided to show you the sliders because the Corey absolutely levered this one. So much so, I sat there going to myself, he's put so much power on that. Have I missed something here? But no, he just literally put his foot through it so much so that it nearly broke the net. So fair play to Corey. That made it 3-0. 3 became 4 in the second half when Patrick got on the score sheet. And that meant all 3 of our central midfielders away at Molineux were on the score sheet. And my goodness me, we were running rampant. Admittedly, though, I looked at the game, and like I said about the Wolves side, I don't think this is going to be one of the most challenging games we're going to play all season. Like I mentioned, don't know where they finished last year, so I can't tell you that. I don't believe they're in continental football, so this isn't really one you can look at and go, okay, this is an Everton side who means business. Until we take on like sort of one of the top 6, that's when we'll get the first look at it. But certainly, on paper, we are one of the strongest sides in this division. And if you consider they finished 3rd last year, under our reign now, we will be pushing on to try and win that title. I don't know what's more important to us this season, the Premier League title or the Champions League, because the board want a lot. Their expectations are sat very, very highly. So if that's anything to go by, we are going to be under pressure for large parts this year, but hopefully we can live up to those expectations. A 4-0 victory in our first Premier League game to begin off our new reign at Everton is something I can welcome very, very much. So a decent start. Chelsea winning against Palace. City beating Fulham. That's going to be the interesting factor. Who is going to be the big, big test for us this year? But this then is the biggest deals of the window so far. Currently we hold that with Romelu Lukaku joining us. £60 million plus Jolinton to go the other way to Manchester United, which is a combined fee of about 86 million. So I don't know how good that business was there, but I knew for a fact I wanted to bring back Romelu Lukaku. So as soon as I took this job, I knew that was my first or second signing after Patrick. I wanted Lukaku back. Not really hit the ground running at Man United. I wanted him to sort of resurge his career, if you will. But this is our business in full then. So Patrick coming in the beginning of the window. Kieran Dowland, 16 million going the other way to Villarreal. Cornet leaving the club. Tekken leaving the club. Kvass leaving the club as well. Virginia going. Mampala as well to Galatasaray. You can see not big deals, but little bits of money here and there. Lukaku then joining in that biggest signing of the window so far to us. Grimaldo going to Manchester City for 48 million. Onyekuru to Monaco for 50. That was the combined 98 that we spoke about. Kingsley Coman joining for 52. Chelsea going to Bristol City. And the final deal then so far in this transfer window for us was of course Wan-Bissaka coming in from Chelsea. So 4 signings, about 9 or 10 outgoings. There's still a little bit of money to play with, around about £20 million or so. So I'm not finished yet. But I am planning on not too much more either, unless somebody does take my eye. We got a few other offers here as we ended off the episode today. Lucas Torreira from Arsenal, they want him back, £52 million. Instantly rejected that. He's staying at the club. He's worth a little bit more than that, in my opinion. So I wasn't even going to entertain any offers around that mark. But as we show you the rest of the deals then, Walcott, we're going to accept an offer from West Brom here. 33 now, Theo Walcott. Don't know how he's still here, to be honest, but there you go. There's one big signing to show you. Memphis Depay has joined Premier League champions Manchester United, gone back there for a £77 million fee. So he's going to be one of the players to watch in this Premier League season. But as we bring the episode to a close then, a massive thank you for watching this. If you have enjoyed it, a like would be greatly appreciated. We will be back to live com for the next episode, and I'm going to try and get you guys daily uploads of FIFA this week. That is what I'm going to try to do, but apologies in advance if I miss a day or whatever. That's what the side is looking like. If you are new or you like what you see, hit that subscribe button down below to follow me on the channel. We upload every single day at 4 PM UK time, usually worst case scenario 6 PM UK time. And until next time, I'm very, very excited to get going here with Everton. I'll see you all for episode 2 very, very soon. Adios.